President Joe Biden addresses the situation in Israel and Ukraine. Now on Daybreak, why he says Congress needs to take action today.
The Delphi murders case takes an unexpected turn. Coming up, the impact on Richard Allen's defense and reaction from a legal expert.
Indiana Attorney General Todd Rokita speaks out on the violence in the Middle East. Ahead, how you can stay safe while attending a rally.
News 8 Daybreak starts now.
Good morning and happy Friday. Thank you so much for joining us.
We will get to Tara Hastings here in just a moment with a look at how traffic's flowing.
But first, let's check in with meteorologist Marcus Bailey. Good morning.
Ladies, good morning. Happy Friday. We made it.
Yes.
Not the prettiest of days yesterday.
No.
No, it was. But you know, we did need the rain, so it wasn't a bad thing. We're still kind of dealing with some leftover showers here this morning, but I don't think it's an all-day thing. And as we just kind of get later and later, things will improve. So
I was going to say, we did get a break in the rain and walked to dinner.
Oh, okay.
And it was kind of a perfect weather to see all of the Halloween decorations.
Oh, yeah, kind of gloomy and
spooky
spooky looking.
Yes,
Yeah,
exactly.
absolutely. A lot of people might be doing that this weekend. So better weather ahead for the weekend, too, and that's the important factor. So we'll get on all of that here in just a second. But let's get you started if you're getting ready to head out the door for your Monday morning. Radar's still pretty active, especially in the eastern and northern parts of central Indiana. Richmond, Muncie, Marion, Kokomo, all kind of socked in with steady but light rain and moving to the east. You look west, it's a little bit more broken and isolated. And that's kind of how the theme will go as we go later into the day. It's this little, this dashed line is indicating what we call a trough in the weather world. Just think of it as a wave of energy. It wrings out the atmosphere, whatever moisture is left over. And there's not much, but it is enough energy to kind of get some of these showers going here. What's important is if you get into Illinois, the entire state is completely clear. Eventually, that drier air will work into our state. It may take a good portion of the day to get there, though. 53 right now, no rain at the airport. We've seen some drizzle from time to time around the city. Most of the state right now in the low to mid 50s. Storm Track 8 Futurecast. As we go hour by hour, again, the steady rain here over the next couple hours kind of pushes away to the east. We're left with isolated showers through midday into the afternoon. Still a lot of cloud cover. We probably won't see those clouds break until once the sun set. So it's going to be a bit cooler as a result with not much sunshine on the way. 54 at noon. We'll go with a high of 59 later on for the day today. Skies break and we will see a lot of sunshine heading into the weekend and a big warm up next week. We'll have that in the 8-day forecast coming your way in just a few minutes. Tara Hastings has a look at traffic this morning. Happy Friday, Tara.
Happy Friday, Marcus. It is 5:02 right now over in the city's east side, 465 right around 71st Street. We do have some wet roadways out there, so you're definitely going to need the windshield washers or windshield wipers as you head throughout the door this morning. Traffic Watch Map presented by Lee Castle and Fegley. Want to let you know that we are seeing a little bit of some damp conditions, some wet roadways here over on the city's south side along 465, over on the city's north side as well and northwest side right around the Zionsville and Lebanon area. So keep that in mind as you are out and about this morning. Over on the city's west side, 465 near West 10th Street, we've got mostly cloudy skies and also seeing a little sheen on the roadway here. So some wet roads over on the city's west side as well. West side drive time 16 minutes along I-70 Plainfield to the South Split 36, Avon to 465 at 10 minutes and a 7-minute morning drive along 74 from Brownsburg to 465.
Tara, thank you. And we are following breaking news of 2 fatal crashes involving pedestrians in Indianapolis. Police say an overnight hit and run near Fountain Square left a man dead. IMPD says officers found the victim near Villa Avenue and Pleasant Run Parkway South just before midnight. Medics pronounced him dead at the scene. Investigators haven't released anything else about the victim or the vehicle that hit him. The other one, IMPD says a person died in a late-night crash on the city's far west side. It happened at about 11 last night on Rockville Road east of Country Club Road. Investigators think a driver hit and killed the victim as they crossed the street. Police say the driver of the vehicle stayed at the scene.
And happening today, President Biden says he will send an aid package worth $105 billion for Israel and Ukraine to Congress for approval. In a rare primetime address from the Oval Office, Biden makes a direct appeal to Americans for support in the wars. The White House says $60 billion would go to Ukraine to replenish U.S. weapons stockpiles. Another $14 billion would be for Israel. Biden declares the wars a critical moment for the future of democracies worldwide.
American leadership is what holds the world together. American alliances is what keep us, America, safe. American values are what make us a partner that other nations want to work with. To put all that at risk, if we walk away from Ukraine, we turn our backs on Israel, it's just not worth it.
The remaining funding in the aid package would deliver aid to Taiwan and the southern border with Mexico.
The Rafah crossing will no longer open today for a convoy of humanitarian aid to get to Gaza. That's according to CNN, which cites multiple anonymous sources. The United Nations plan to send 20 trucks in today with medical supplies and enough food to feed hundreds of thousands of people. The trucks are at the border ready to cross, but now CNN reports road repairs are needed on the Egyptian side of the buffer zone. Officials tell CNN they hope the first convoy will cross in Israel tomorrow. Indiana Attorney General Todd Rokita says he is glad protests in Indianapolis have remained peaceful. Rokita says his office has guidance for anyone who wants to hold a planned demonstration in support of Israel or Palestine.
You have the right in this country, certainly in this state, to peaceably assemble. That doesn't mean you don't have to get a permit to do it. It also means that a permit can't be unreasonably withheld by a government. You do not have the right to invade anyone else's space or person. You certainly don't have a right to touch another person or even give the impression of imminent bodily harm to a person. That's called assault. So even if you don't touch a person, if you act like you're going to do it, that's a crime.
Rokita says people should call 911 if they see any threat of violence. And to IT Maid and the likely month-long delay in the Delphi murders case. The case took an unexpected turn yesterday when Richard Allen's attorneys withdrew themselves and amid questions about the security of evidence.
I-Team 8 senior investigative reporter Richard Essex explains what happened at that very short court hearing.
Richard Allen never entered the courtroom today, and a few minutes before the hearing was supposed to start, Allen's wife was taken to the back hallway of the courtroom, which is a departure from some of the past hearings. Now, she was then brought out to the gallery, and then at 2:15, 15 minutes after this hearing was supposed to start, one of Allen's now former lawyers came out and talked to her and then took her out of the courtroom altogether, and they never came back.
We've had an unexpected turn of events.
Andrew Baldwin and Brad Rosie have withdrawn as Richard Allen's defense attorneys. Their leaving the case comes on the heels of a catastrophic evidence leak from Baldwin's office. The tension in the courtroom was thick, to say the least. We had expected Fran Gull, the special judge assigned to this case, to address some of the motions filed by the defense team and evidence that came from Attorney Baldwin's office. Many of the detectives associated with this case over the years were in the courtroom, along with the Carroll County Sheriff and Indiana State Police Superintendent Doug Carter. Superintendent Carter seemed noticeably upset and kept his eyes trained on the family of Abby Williams and Libby German. A few minutes before the hearing was scheduled to start, a lawyer representing Andrew Baldwin was summoned to the back hallway. It became apparent that something was happening when Attorney Baldwin never entered the courtroom. Richard Allen submitted a letter to the court just 4 hours before the hearing was supposed to start, asking that his lawyers remain on the case.
The defense attorneys have withdrawn their representation of Mr. Allen. Mr. Baldwin made an oral motion to withdraw. I granted that oral motion to withdraw, and Mr. Rosie will be submitting a written motion to withdraw, I'm assuming within the next couple of days. They have confirmed with the court that Mr. Allen's financial situation remains static, meaning he is continuing to be entitled to appointed counsel.
Allen's now former lawyers have been ordered to turn over all the discovery back to the state and to cooperate with new counsel once that they are appointed. The judge did say that she plans on holding another hearing at the end of this month, and now as for the trial date in January, that's almost certain not to happen. In Fort Wayne, Richard Essex, Wish TV, I-Team 8.
A legal professor says the abrupt departure of Allen's lawyers is extremely uncommon. Jody Madeira works at the IU Maurer School of Law. She says this could delay Allen's trial until April at the earliest. She believes it was not a coincidence. Both Andrew Baldwin and Brad Rosie resigned after the leak of sensitive documents. Madeira says the new attorneys could start from scratch if the former attorneys do not cooperate.
There is a nicety in the legal profession where the attorneys of record who worked on this case before are asked to cooperate, but that is not something that they have to do. That is something that they can choose to do, nor do they have to turn over any of their prior work product.
Indiana judges do not have to allow a lawyer to leave the case. Madeira believes allowing a change of counsel may help speed up the proceedings in Allen's trial. It's 5:10 now. IMPD says a man is dead after a shooting east of downtown. Officers found the victim dead in a backyard on Ohio Street near Washington Street yesterday afternoon. Investigators believe they've spoken with all the parties involved. Police have not said if they made any arrests.
A person is dead after a crash in Morgan County. The coroner's office says it happened at about 1:30 yesterday afternoon on Egbert Road. The victim died at the scene. Right now, we're working to learn more about who the victim is and what led to the crash. It is 10 after 5.
And the Near East Side will soon look completely different. Coming up, how Michigan and New York streets will change in the new year.
This is Wish TV, also on 93 WIBC Mobile News and Indiana's only statewide TV news network.